Welcome to the John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
That was so loud. Okay. All right. What's going on, everyone? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Juan Solo Show with your host, me, Juan D. Clouser. This is episode 179, I believe, of this great, wonderful podcast. Oh my God! Can you believe we are here? Oh, yep. You're gonna hear that sound, aren't you? The thunk, thunk. It sounds like a fat turd. I don't know how anyone's ever thought that sounded like paper going into a trash can. Ever. It really doesn't. Do you hear all that clicking and stuff like that? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, this is episode 179. What is going on? Welcome. Does it look like I just got done playing, 18 holes of golf? Because I did. It's just great. It's wonderful. I got home, thought I should then just go ahead and knock out a podcast. Why not? So hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. This world is well. Kinda. We're no longer in the global warming phase. I never thought. I always thought that I would at least be in my 80s, close to my deathbed, when I would finally get to hear the fact that, we were no longer in global warming. We're in something else. But I am 34 years old, and I have learned that we are officially in the global boiling phase now. Can you believe that? That's just, I don't know. A little of me is like, yeah, well, what we're doing is not helpful. Yes, this is true. But also, another thing is that the fact that, the world does fluctuate all the time. The earth has been around here a lot longer than we have. We want to pretend it's because we have this idea as humans that we are a lot bigger than what we are in the whole scheme of things. And we're not really that big. We're not that big. We're this small little speck of shit. Especially with just, the whole alien shit. Like, I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know. A little of me wants to believe that, oh my God, because the government just had a guy under oath say that they have bodies from alien, or bodies of something that's not human or from this earth. And it's just like, yeah, that's, yeah. You know what I should do is, guys, shouldn't I should just bring it up. I think I have the video. But it's hilarious how we are. But, isn't it funny how I'm just like, another thing, I learned today? I learned that you don't have to be on Wi-Fi to send or airdrop something. You can, just have your Bluetooth. If your Bluetooth is on, then it works and does the same thing. But let's see here. I can play it. I can play this. So this was the. Hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. Oh, you would think I would have all this thing set up. You hear that? That was the most unprofessional thing I've ever. God, John, don't you went to school for this? What are you doing, you dumb turd? Okay, so I guess this would be video 1. So let me see here. Okay, let me put a 1 here. All right. Yeah. So this is what
we have crashed craft. Stated earlier. Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to UNISCIF about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's like, yeah, we apparently, like, UFOs are real now. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? What, if you want my opinion, because you always have to now, because what happened was COVID, And what also happened too was Donald Trump. And these two things occurred. And what it caused is a big malfunction in the whole matrix of what we live in. And so now we don't know what to believe in. We don't know if, because we just, that most news is most likely skewed one way or it's skewed another way. And why it's like that is so it's can basically brainwash you. Some would say. So I want to believe, yeah, this is true. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think it'd be cool as hell, awesome, if aliens were real. I really do. But what I also realize is that, they're trying to pass laws. They just lit, I think, was it 40,000? Man, my arms, you can definitely tell. Look how brown my arms are. You can tell. No, was it I think they 40,000 immigrants just crossed the border, and a lot of people are going to be upset by that. So what they do is they release the alien stuff, and what that does is then people are more worried about that versus talking about other stuff. And I'm just looking at my arms, and I'm just good God, look at that, look at that farmer's tan, look at that shit. That's some good farmers. That's some golf tan right there. But it's just an insane thing to believe, even if it is true. If it's not true, who knows? Who knows? I want it to be true. It's much like Bigfoot. I would love for Bigfoot to be real, but in truth, I don't think it is. And then, well, if you want me the truth, the honest truth, I think probably what these aliens are humans from another dimension trying to come and save us, trying to help us. If you don't want this, if there was something, it would be something like that. It would be a human-like species or a species like before human, and they somehow reached a new pinnacle, because it's starting to I don't know. I'm starting to feel the more and more I'm reading and the more and more I'm listening to podcasts. I know, right? I'm one of these people now. When they talk about the pyramids. They just found a pyramid in Antarctica, or a pyramid-like shape that they think because from overhead it looks like it's how the snow is landing on this body of, maybe it's a rock, but if it's a rock, it's perfectly shaped like a pyramid. Again, it could be photoshopped. Who knows? You can't fully believe anything anymore. My arms are so goddamn brown that you can't fully believe anything anymore. And so you just start you fall and yeah, maybe this is true, maybe this is not true. I don't know. I take everything with a grain of salt now. I'm just kind of if there is a God, I'm just bro, okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of faith in you. Maybe you're real, maybe you're not. I don't know. Something. It'd be interesting. It's all interesting to me. But I don't even think when we die we go to heaven or hell. I think what we do is I think our souls just kind of, they go off in the universe and they just kind of move on. If the universe is infinite, why would our souls not then just move on into infinity? That's not a word. Or forever infinite? That's not a word either. But that's how I feel. I don't really think to think that we're special enough that there's something bigger than us that would really want to punish us or even reward us is absurd to think. Because do you not watch nature videos? Do you not watch Nature is Metal? Do you not see animals just tear the shit out of other animals and while they're alive? You don't what makes you think that there's a higher being that really gives two Frenchmen's fucks about us? I just don't. I don't know. I would love for there to be something more. And I read it all and I'm just it's all makes interesting sense. Right now, funny thing. So I think as someone who has a strong faith in his own personal belief, which is, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that because it's none of your all's business. Much like what you believe in is none of my business. It's the same thing. You can just read books and you can read the Bible and the Torah and the Quran and be okay and not really be anything of any of it, and just take it as a fucking book if you want. But I am reading. I'm new. I am now. I said it real hard through that, but I am right now rereading the New Testament, which is quite interesting because it's a lot more all over the place than the Quran as well as the Torah, which is fine. It's its own version, its own people. Everyone has their own style of telling stories. But what's interesting is what you guys want to take a guess on how long it took the New Testament to take a jab at Judaism? Chapter 6. It was chapter 6, guys. It was great. It was when you do charity work, it is good to not boast or brag about it like the ones in the synagogue. Great line. Awesome line. I'm like, hilarious. Another one too, like what Jesus said, like man can't live on bread alone, which is great, which makes sense. You can't just eat carbs, guys. You can't just do it. You can't do that. You have to eat your vegetables too. In turn, that's how I read the Bible. If you want the truth, when I take it, I'm like, okay, let's apply it to actual common sense. What is this? Like, okay, man can't eat on bread alone. Yeah, of course it's a bigger metaphor. Well, of course Jesus was talking to the devil at the time, which is insane. If it was true, if that was actually happening, crazy, insane that is and they're just telling us like it's just like a normal Tuesday. The whole thing is insane. All of it's insane. If you just really sit back and take a breath and look at it, you're like, whoa, holy shit. So you're telling me that there's a horse-like thing with wings on its legs, and it takes Muhammad from one city to another in Saudi Arabia, and then there's Jesus and Muhammad, and then you're telling me, and then there's another story like Moses took a staff and slammed it against a rock and made water. It's like it's all over the place, guys, and these are all what we believe. Each one of us believe in something that's like that. Some of us is Muslim, some of us are Judaism, some of us Judaism, some of us are Jews, some of us are Christians, and it's insane. It's like it's all the same. It's the biggest things. Like people want to like, when did you accept Jesus Christ in this aspect of things? When did you become a Jew in this part of the thing? Like, are you Muhammad? Like, it's like, who cares? It's like if you go to the Dome of the Rock, I tell you this all the time. It's goddamn truth. God damn it. What'd be so funny if like there is one thing, if there is like a God, and that's the one thing that he gets incredibly pissed about. He's like, son of a bitch, I hate it. I can tolerate people saying fuck, motherfucker, punta, all of this. I can handle all doing all this, but I can't tolerate when people say God damn it, or like dos míos or something like that. Like I can't fucking stand it. I can't stand it. And like so like that is like the one sin that he was actually being real serious about. Like he's like, don't use the guy's name in vain. And he's like, no, seriously, it annoys the shit out of me. I don't know why it is. It's like how some people, they don't like the cupboards in a kitchen to be open. Everything has to be closed before anyone leaves the kitchen. It's insane. Some people are odd. So it is what it is. Here or there, everywhere. Some people wear underwear. Other people don't. But it's just a insane way of thinking. I don't know. I've just been, when you dose yourself into it like a nice Sunday cone, no pun intended there, it's you start thinking about things, and it makes you think. And I think that's one of the bigger things you should be doing if you do believe in all this stuff. I don't even know how I got on this whole subject, but if you are one of looking for religion or faith or something like that, like just read it all. Like it's and like you're gonna find one of them are gonna like really tickle your fancy, and you can read the other ones. And guess what? If you really believe what you believe, then like no matter what else you read, you're gonna be like, huh, interesting. That's interesting. Like I've learned that. Did you know? And I think I've told you about this before on the recent podcast, but that Jesus ascended into heaven, and this is what the Muslims believe, that he ascended into heaven, and then like the Jesus that got crucified was not the real actual Jesus. It was like a doppelganger. I've been chewing on that for fucking 2 months. 2 goddamn months trying to figure out how and where do people like took the leap in this, and like, you know what? I don't care. That's cool. Awesome. That's great. If you want to believe that, how is that hurting me? I just want to know how where, because if I were to sit down and talk to someone who like was like more into it than I am, I'm sure I'd be like, oh, that makes absolute sense. Actually, now that makes just as much sense as what I believe. So it's just, it's just fun. It's fun. It's fun too, because if there is a God, He gave us free will. He gave us ability to like learn and be more intelligent than other beings, and all these beings even said in the Bible says that these beings are all for our use, like animals and stuff like that. So like, yeah, we have this ability. So why would we not want to learn more? I guess I don't know. This is where we're at. This is where I am. Man, that was a long tangent. Here we go. There we go. Right? What else do we have here on my list of things? Whataburger is trash. I said it. Okay, like I get it. It's not that good. We had before Whataburger, we've had Burger King, McDonald's. Yeah, everyone knows. Not that good. Not that good. They're not. You don't go to those. You're not. Chef's kiss on a fucking McDonald's hamburger. You're just not. But we've had Culver's. We had Culver's, which is amazing. Hell, the only thing that's better than Culver's is In-N-Out. Now, if In-N-Out had Culver's fries, In-N-Out would be hands down the way better of a burger, in my opinion. It was the way better of all of it. But the thing is, like, think about Culver's. Everything, the onions, the tomato, all of it is always super precise, and it's always super crisp, and it's always like 10 out of 10. I've never had a bad Culver's experience out of all of them, out of all the places. Because even In-N-Out, I've had. I mean, I'm not horrible, but just small little things. Like, because you expect when you order a meal that you're gonna get the drink with it too. And that was my first time. And I'm like, okay, that was my fault. I didn't know the etiquette of it. Now I know. Moving on. Culver, all that. They ask you, like, do you want the drink with it? And all, it's great. Oh, I remember when I was on a film set once for, what was it? It was for Tattoos After Dark, I believe. And it was before I got, like, promoted, and I was still working as, like, basically like a PA, wrangle runner. Oh, why? It's just some words. So you're just basically doing bitch work. I was the assistant to one of the producers. You just get assigned to a producer, and you're like, hey, what do you need me to do? And you just kind of do the bitch work. They give you like a set of keys for a company car, and then you just kind of do your thing after that. And it's hilarious. Does anyone else find that absolutely hilarious? Because I do. So funny. But that's what happens. I can turn brown. Surprisingly, guys, right? Like I am from a third world country. It is actually quite surprising. I'm from Honduras, which is, right next to Ecuador, which is the Ecuador, which means equator in Spanish. It's like, yeah, we are like, no joke. Honduras is, we're just pushing right next to the equator. Actually, we're not close to Ecuador whatsoever. That was my fault. That was really stupid, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. That was actually pretty stupid, but I'm actually quite stoned. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, so we have Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, then Colombia, and then Ecuador. Then that's where the equator is. Insane. What is this little... let's see here. What do we got here? We got the... Oh, you guys want to know something? Kind of, this is going to make me sound stupid, but hey, this is part of learning. I've never actually Googled where the Galapagos Islands are, and they're right next to the equator. That makes sense. That actually makes quite a lot of sense. I'm not going to lie to you, and I feel quite dumb. That I did not do that. But there's like the silliest of things there's, I think we all have like just things that we all are like, that's pretty elementary. It's pretty elementary. And we just have never really simply grasped the idea because we never thought about it because there's really been no need for us to grasp the idea. And then there's a moment like you doing a solo podcast in a bucket hat. And then you're like, oh, well, fuck. Shit. Funny thing about this bucket hat. Today I was going to play golf and I was checking in, and the person at the register, kid couldn't have been more than fucking 16 years old, had to have been like 16 years old, just freshly 16. And he was wearing a bucket hat too, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. It's basically the same kind of outfit that I'm wearing right now. He's like, bucket hats are for losers. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, just like, because I was digging for something in my pocket. I'm like, huh? And he's like, bucket hats are for losers. And I'm like, and it took me a second. And then another second, I was like, hey, dude, that was actually a pretty funny joke. Like, I'm sorry it took me a second there sorry, I killed it a little bit for you, but that was actually a pretty good joke. Like, that was hilarious. But I'm like, yeah, bucket hats are the best, though. Like, especially when you're going golfing. Like, these are the best hats to wear. Best hats to wear. I get it. I get why I put one on my PGA golf player, my creative player. I know why. I understand why I do it, and then because then you get arms like this, brown arms, and then you have, everything else is pretty light. It's hilarious. I look so fucking weird having these tan ass arms, forearms, and then just oh god, this is where we're at in my life. This is where I'm at. So let's see here. I have like 7 minutes left. I kind of wanted to do this thing, so I low key feel like I need to start doing like segments. I feel like I need to start blocking this off a little bit more, but I'm like, but that's what everyone does. I mean, if you could just talk and rant, like if people want to listen, they're just gonna listen to it, John. Like that's how anything is. It's just if you rant, you rant. Like the religious thing, like it's like the same thing all over again. It's the same thing again and again and again. I feel, in my opinion. But like yeah, I feel like I should do like segments, and so one of the segments I thought I would do would be like advice segment. So Reddit has this thing where people have they have advice. They ask people for advice and stuff like that, which I think is hilarious to choose such a random thing, because the only thing that's weirder is going to like is choosing to do misconnections and going there and writing about things, because I also feel like I need to start exploring that again, because it's been years since I've gone down Craigslist misconnections. So God knows where that place has been. God knows. Actually, I'm gonna write that down on my list of things to do this week. Will be to go. Oh, that was incredibly gross. Excuse me, guys, to go down Craigslist misconnections. But here we go. Let's see here. We got some interesting ones. Should I leave my wife over the dog? I feel like this is pretty funny, but this is a little long, but whatever. Well, let me what's the word they say? Lick my whistle. I hope this audio's decent, guys, too. It's gone a little too far. Before I mention this, I'm using a Zoom handy recorder H4n, and last week what I was using was like it's so weird when I think because this microphone is so it's so single directional, so it's very strong if I talk right into it, and I already have a pretty loud voice. But the auto levels, I kept it on auto level, so whenever I started peaking, it would naturally just push it down. But now this week I'm doing a manual way where I chose a spot and then keeping my voice at a certain level, hopefully, and not blowing it out. But like I said, to each cow's own. Each podcast is different, so this is my podcast. Now, with this advice one, I wanted to do it because I saw the title and I didn't read anything else after that. And I saw there's this thing, like, I glanced and it said like an edit, and they added something, and it was like a Jack Russell Terrier or some shit. I don't know. I just wanted to read it, but I wanted to wait to read it online on air. And I thought I'd eat up some time. So here we go, guys. This is a Reddit advice. And then, feel free to like maybe put in like have your own thoughts and your feelings, and God knows no one leaves comments or anything like that. Thank God. I'm kind of glad you guys don't. Anyone who listens to don't, because that means you guys have a life. So anyway, not that I want to accept anybody writing. And anyway, should I leave my wife over the dog? I'm struggling with this decision on if I should stay with my wife or not, and it will rather if I should have left a year ago. For context, my dog, what was my dog, thought I still called my dog, I had since I was 14. My grandfather, who I was closest to on my mother's side of the family, had not owned a dog since he had passed away back in the 70s, and did not like the idea of my dog. Though after he met him a few weeks before my grandfather's death, he fell in love with that puppy and refused to let us over unless he was with us. Skip forward to when I moved out at 17. He came with me and was the one reason I had that kept me going. And when I had got my now wife, they got in. Okay, hold on. Let me start. Okay, skip forward to when I moved out at 17. He came with me and was the one reason I had that kept me going. And when I got with my now wife, they got in great. I'm assuming the dog and her. Okay. He was a well-trained dog who had no issues even with her cats, and had no issues with her dog whatsoever. Forward to last year when my wife was pregnant with our son. She got paranoid, in a month or so before the birth, we went behind my back while I was at work and convinced both our families that the dog should go, and that she didn't think that the baby would be safe with the dog in the same house. And they rehomed him in a charity whom found him a home within 48 hours, and it was a very rare opportunity, especially for an older, now 9-year-old dog. I am still not over the betrayal of losing my best friend and a family member, and I do not know if I'll trust my wife again. I am not quite sure what made her snap into deciding my dog had to go, and she wouldn't talk to me about it, as it was just because it would just cause arguments. This is really fucked up, and I actually kind of have a thing that something happened to me about this too. Edit. Because people have asked, it was a Jack Russell Terrier. It was a Jack Russell. It wasn't aggressive. And secondly, I did not attempt to instantly get him back, nor help. No help from my wife, and did not have support from some mates. Though the charity that rehomed him did not give me any information on the new owners for privacy reasons, and didn't help me or really listen to me. Though I am glad they did not put him down. At least I couldn't put it down. I cannot put it down as theft, as though I married my wife, technically gained ownership of the dog as well, and the new owner did not technically steal him, and had the documents to prove ownership of adoption. That is insane. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, so the baby so there's a baby now, and I only have 12 seconds left. I would say, dude, we're gonna have to talk about this a little bit more at the beginning of the next episode. But I would say, let's think about this. Put a pin in it. But I would say, dude, that's some fucked up shit. Like you're gonna at least talk to her about it. You have a child now, so it's kind of on the back burner a little bit. It is worth talking about. If anything, I would talk to her and see if you can try to maybe get some like, hey, I understand that you didn't want this dog in the house anymore. Maybe possibly be able to talk to the people who have the dog now, and maybe you can like hang out and see the dog every once in a while. But damn, dude, we're gonna have to go back on. That's some insane shit. Well, if I didn't stutter through it so much, We could probably gotten more, but this is kind of where the podcast is going to end, guys. All right. I'll see you on the next episode. Look at my arms. Bye.